Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue to support Canadian workers and the Canadian economy and negotiate a deal with the United States.
Pierre hammered him good. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we got Pierre Poilievre hammering Mark Carney on exactly what just happened. Who cares?
Who cares? I mean, it's a detail. It's a detail.
Mark Carney saying, who cares? When it comes to getting a deal with Donald Trump, I'm sure that's not going over well with Canadians as there's widespread job losses. We've got some polling data. We got House of Commons session. We're going to ping pong back and forth between the two. Got some other stuff. Let's jump into this. Jumping over to the House. We're starting this one off fiery here with Stephen McKinnon.
Last week, the member for Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies repeated MAGA claims that immigration and immigrants are a drag on the Canadian economy. I think Canadians want to know from the Leader of the Opposition. So the member said, repeated MAGA claims that immigrants are a drag on our economy. I think Canadians want to know whether the...
That's bullcrap and you know it. Immigrants have built Canada. It's the low education immigrants, the ones coming in without skills, and not only the people without skills, but the people who are causing crime in our country. Those are the immigrants we don't want in Canada. They should be filtered out, they should be vetted and not let into the country. This is all common sense. I think any Canadian would agree with that. But of course, the Liberals trying to spin this as some sort of talking point.
Leader of the Opposition approves this kind of language, and will he sanction the member, yes or no?
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister claimed during the last election that the U.S. tariffs were an existential crisis, and I quote, requiring that he immediately be elected to, quote, negotiate a win and get a deal by July 21st. Well, a few days ago, he was asked about the state of those negotiations, and he said there are no issues of importance to discuss. In fact, he said, who cares? Mr. Speaker, we care. We care about the workers who've lost their jobs and don't have paychecks to make their mortgage payments. Why doesn't he care?
This is exactly where Pierre needs to go with this. Don't let the Liberals do question period on the Conservatives. It's the other way around. The Conservatives, the official opposition, holds the government to account. It's question period. As we know how Liberals are, though. It's not answer period. We got a post here from David Coletto, Abacus Data, showing us the top issues in Canada. As he says, the latest survey delivered findings that should worry anyone who believes that the C-word action is central to Canada's long-term prosperity. Only 13% of Canadians list C-word change in the environment as among their top 3 issues. So what they do here when they poll people, they ask them their top 3, and then that's how they rank them here. And what's number 1? Glaringly, the rising cost of living. Mark Carney is losing his stranglehold, dangerous and divided. We see it all over the place. He said it in the UAE. He says it at every speech. It's on the government website. It's like the letterhead of every single thing that goes out from the government. The world has become dangerous and divided. There's a rupture, there's a fracture, there's this, that, and the other. It's all scary. Well, it's not working anymore. You can see Donald Trump has slipped to number 4 now. Back during the election, Trump was way at the top. Same sort of situation, way above all the rest. This has flipped. And as David Coletto points out in his article here, where's the environment? Where's the old CC here? 13%. So Mark Carney's got a serious problem here because he's got a bunch of climate activists as part of his party, and they don't like this. We're hearing rumors that multiple Liberals are not liking this. They're wanting to step down. They want to leave the party. They're revolting against Carney. These are rumors, unfounded, but I mean, it is what it is. That's when the media wants to run. Well, I mean, this is what we're hearing.
Mr. Speaker, things are getting out of hand on the other side of the House.
Repeating of these mega claims came in the wake of the member for Calgary Midnapore questioning the Prime Minister's loyalty to Canada. I think we can all agree that those are comments that no Canadian can take seriously. My question...
I'm sorry, what? I think what's a more factual statement is anyone who sees this can't be taking Mark Carney seriously as a Prime Minister that has our well-being in his best interest.
The question is, does the Leader of the Opposition take them seriously? If he doesn't, which he must surely not, would he tell the House and would he tell his member to apologize for those comments?
Question. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
You hear that? Good question. This is not question period for the government. This should be answer period for the government. The opposition questions the government. This needs to be enforced. We need to have new rules that if they don't answer the questions, they immediately get fines, and the fines start stacking.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister already apologized to President Trump.
Yes,
it was one of the many areas where he backed down and capitulated after claiming that he would be elbows up. He promised he'd have a deal by July 21st. No deal. Promised to negotiate a win. No wins. Mr. Speaker, he promised elbows up, elbows are gone. And now, when he's asked about the state of the talks, he says Who cares? Why should he care? Days after he met with the president, Brookfield got an $80 billion contract with the White House. Is that really what he cares about? Does he not care about the hard-working Canadians that are counting on him to keep his promise?
Bien sûr que le Premier ministre se soucie.
Of course, the Prime Minister cares about the well-being of Canadians, our workers and industries.
This dirtbag switching to French, so there's not this clean soundbite back and forth. It's a dirty tactic because they know full well that the translator's voice, in this case it's a woman's voice, is going over McKinnon, and it detaches the person from the voice. These are dirty liberal tactics.
And that is why we are carrying out constructive negotiations with the U.S. But, Mr. Speaker, things are getting out of hand on the other side. The member for Calgary-Midnapore, even this very morning, was questioning whether the Prime Minister is loyal to Canada. Can the leader of the official opposition sanction her for her comments, or does he agree?
Prime Minister, who said, who cares? When he was asked just over the weekend about the failure to keep his promises on trade since he took office. Not only has he failed to get the promised deal, but American tariffs on aluminum, autos, and steel have doubled. On forestry communities, they have tripled. The Prime Minister says, who cares? All of us on this side of the House care about the communities that are being emptied out in our forestry, the steel workers in Hamilton who don't have jobs to pay their mortgages. We care about those people. Why doesn't he?
This is the right tone of questioning. He's just got to stick on that. He has to bring this up. This 91% invested in America, what would liberals say to this? They can't argue against the Investigative Journal Foundation on their findings on this. He's got to bring this up. Tie him to America, tie him to Trump. He just brought up the Brookfield, Donald Trump, Westinghouse deal. He's got to nail him on the percentage of investments in America. So as Coletto goes on to point here, the C word has not disappeared. It has been displaced. The real reason that the environment has dropped to 13% on the list is, well, this. Right now, Canadians are not fulfilling the basic needs. Thus, the environment would be up here in self-actualization, esteem needs. Caring about the environment is a first world thing. In the third world countries, they don't care at all. And that's why you see countries like India, there's garbage everywhere because people are in poverty. They don't have the luxury of caring about the environment. Now in Canada, we can care about the environment. We can also be rich with our resources. We can do both, but we shouldn't be affecting the production of our resources. We can care for our environment, have clean waters, don't have garbage and pouring toxic waste into rivers, but we can still have safe and clean means of bringing our resources to market. But right now, Canadians are not having their needs met: food, water, warmth, security, and safety. Especially you throw in the world event, people have lost their relationships, ties with people have moved out of cities. And this is what you get. People not caring about the environment, and the cost of living is number one. So Mark Carney is losing a grip on this quickly. And the more he switches to the other side and tries to be Mr. Conservative and steal Poilievre's strategies and policies, he's losing his own liberal base. He is fighting an internal conflict here. And I can only imagine while he's rolling out his net zero agenda that the eco warriors in his team will easily support. They don't like that he's not actually rolling out stuff for the environment, like he cut the 1 billion trees program from Trudeau. He's fighting a battle on two fronts here, and he has to care what's going on in his own caucus because probably half of them, this is a top priority for them.
Mr. Speaker, just because the leader of the opposition keeps repeating the same line over and over again doesn't make it real. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition knows very well that our government was elected to defend Canadian workers and the Canadian economy. That's exactly what we did in a budget that was tabled in this House of Commons. The opposition decided not to support Canadian workers and provinces and territories and sectors under attack by unfair American tariffs. Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue to support Canadian workers and the Canadian economy and negotiate a deal with the United States.
Nobody's taking these guys serious. Well, we're going to negotiate a deal with the United States. Really? Since when? It's been 8 months now.
And negotiate a deal with the United States, he repeats the same promise that the Prime Minister has been breaking for the last 8 months. He said he would have a deal by July 21st, no deal. He said he'd negotiate a win, no win. He said he wouldn't back down. All he's done is back down. He said he'd be elbows up. His elbows are missing. And now when he's asked about the fate of these thousands of jobs that rely on him keeping his word, he says, who cares? Isn't it clear by now that even days after he met the president, only Brookfield got the $80 billion deal? Is that what he meant when he promised he'd negotiate a win? Right.
We got some more data here from Abacus Data. This one here, talking about jobs, we've got 74% of Ontarians say it is likely that Ontario will face widespread job losses over the next 5 years. 74% of people think there will be widespread job losses. While this is only in Ontario, this is important because Ontario has so many ridings that swing left or right every election. It's the deciding factor usually in the election is Ontario. So if Canadians, 74% saying there's going to be job losses and people in Ontario are losing their jobs as we're seeing now, do you think they're going to be supporting Mark Carney, Mr. Elbows Up, who didn't do anything to fight back against Donald Trump? We've got 55% of Ontarians say at least moderately concerned about the security of their current job or employment situation. Only 1 in 5 are not concerned at all. Canadians are worried because the jobs are disappearing. And what does Mark Carney have to say about this?
I don't have a burning issue to speak with the president about right now. Who cares? I mean, it's a detail. It's a detail.
Who cares? That's what Mark Carney says. Doesn't need to get a deal because, well, it's not affecting his job, his money. Mark Carney is so detached from reality, it's unbelievable. We've got 63% of Ontarians expect they will need to retrain within the next 5 years to remain competitive in the workforce, including 29% who say very likely. You've got AI stirring things up. We've got Mark Carney not doing a deal because, well, he'll only do it in his own best benefit. And it's almost like Mark Carney's hanging around, hoping that the Supreme Court in America strikes down Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, he's doing these fiddle-diddle deals here. Congratulations, Cyprus Ramaphosa, on the successful G20 summit, first on African soil. We just launched talks on investment protection agreement to boost business between our nations and create more great opportunities for Canadians and South Africans. Let's get real, man. We do almost no trade with South Africa. Where's South Africa on here? Can anyone find it? I'll show you. It's right here. It's this little box right there. You see that? $411 million US, or 0.075% of our exports go to South Africa. It's not even quite 0.1% of our exports. So you can post these all day, but it doesn't make a difference for Canada and Canadians. Mark Carney met with Narendra Modi here of India, and this is interesting. So Modi posted this. We had a very productive meeting with Mark Carney of Canada. We appreciate the significant momentum in our bilateral ties since our earlier meeting held during the G7 summit hosted by Canada. Remember, these guys weren't talking to each other because Justin Trudeau accused the Indian government of organizing and orchestrating bad times against Canadian citizens. And now we've got these guys shaking hands, and look at this. We agreed to further advance our relations in the coming months, particularly in trade, investment, technology, innovation, energy, and education. And then you can see down here he posted, India and Canada have great potential in strengthening trade and investment linkages. We have set a target of 50 billion USD by 2030 for our bilateral trade. Canadian pension funds are showing keen interest in Indian companies. Oh, really? Are they? Or is it pension fund managers in these big pension funds have the same vision and investments as Mark Carney? There's a lot of stuff going on. I keep adding new nodes here that I haven't even connected or even filled out, but we do have this new one here from India, Brookfield, India, wind, solar, and green hydrogen. This one's just from November 4th. So a couple weeks ago, Brookfield Asset Management to invest $12 billion in the state's renewable energy sector. So things are happening here. That's why we're seeing Modi bring this up, because Brookfield's right there on it. Just the other day, Mark Carney's press conference in South Africa, he mentioned Finland and Jamaica. This comes off a question of him being asked about Trump not showing up to the G20.
Just as a follow-up, do you think the U.S., Donald Trump's decision to completely boycott this summit is doing any damage to multilateralism as a concept?
Look, I think that the decision of when you include
He really doesn't want to answer this question.
Guests that were invited by the chair, a series of countries, including, for example, Jamaica in our hemisphere, Finland for other.
So Jamaica, why did Jamaica come first to mind? Mark Carney's really bad at telegraphing stuff, even though he probably doesn't realize it. As I brought up before when he met with the Prime Minister of Jamaica, saying that Jamaica is one of Canada's most important trading partners, which it is not even close. And then showing how we have about $1 billion of trade with them, yet we've sent them almost $1 billion in foreign aid. As we see, the guy who's been in power got in just after Justin Trudeau in 2016. They've been cushy since. You can see his tenure here down here. So this is a partner, 9 years, 265 days just after Trudeau. This is a cushy relationship that loves having Canadian money sent to Jamaica. And what results are we getting from it? These guys are looking for partners to have Canadian tax dollars disappear. If that's not what's happening, then prove me wrong. Show me all the foreign affairs spending and the results from it, because we know full well it's a bunch of bull crap.
The reasons countries that were invited beyond the core members of the G20 as well as international organization. We have 60, I believe, we can double check the number, 62 leaders around that table. And that's That's multilateralism. And the job, I look at it more from who.
So he just goes on to deflect, doesn't really answer the question here. And while I don't know anything going on with Brookfield, Carney, and Finland, Norway, though, has a giant sovereign wealth fund. And, well, Brookfield, they're already 95% of all their cars bought now today are EVs, and they have sovereign wealth funds. Turns out they got this one here. The Sovereign Wealth Fund just invested in Brookfield. This one's coming from September 26th. So a little less than a month ago, they invested at $1.5 billion in Brookfield's Global Transition Fund just before it closed. Ironic, the oil money is going into Brookfield's Transition Fund. What else do we have today? Calistanis have descended upon the capital in Ottawa. The separatists held a mock referendum. This is preposterous, guys. These guys are terror lords in India, and maybe this is why they're doing this, because Mark Carney just met with Modi. This is turning into a real crap show.
Mr. Speaker, it's only Monday. Look at how excited they are because they know there's good news in the budget, Mr. Speaker. That's what I see. Mr. Speaker, there's enough good news to go to Regina, to go to Winnipeg, to go to Moose Jaw, because you know what, Mr. Speaker? The people in Winnipeg understand you need to invest in infrastructure. The people in Moose Jaw understand you need to invest in our military. The people in Regina understand we need to invest in housing, Mr. Speaker. Canadians understand that we need to invest in this country. On this side of this house, we will always fight for Canadians because every day is a good day to fight for Canadians.
Is this what they call fighting for Canadians? 66% of people now worrying about the cost of living. 74% of Ontarians say that there'll be widespread job losses in the next 5 years. Is this fighting for Canadians?